Hi, Susan. I'm glad to catch up with you. I wanted to ask you some questions about the BECS Get Help product that you're using. Um, so can you tell me what is Get Help?
So Get Help is a tool that we created with Team Netsol to create a single point of access for our most vulnerable customers, because we recognised that we weren't reaching them. They didn't know where to go to find the help that they needed, and they weren't accessing services. It allows the local authority to assess the citizen in need holistically, with the appropriate help or interventions put in place to prevent the individual from falling further into crisis.
So why did you need to create this tool? I mean, what problem does the tool help solve for the council and, of course, its citizens?
We were working closely with the Poverty Truth Commission and with welfare support teams across the area to understand why people are falling into poverty. We discovered that people were not able to access the help they needed because they didn't know that the help existed and where or how to access it. This was despite our best efforts in the council to promote our local welfare assistance scheme extensively. A single application underpins our aim to provide a holistic outcome-focused service, reducing stress for our residents, along with processing times for our assessment team. Our focus has always been on improving lives, but it's clear that there are also cost-saving benefits for the council.
So that sounds wonderful. What impact is Get Help having both on the vulnerable and in working practices at the local authority?
Following the introduction of Get Help, we saw an initial increase in online applications of 100%. They are now up by a total of 400% from when the tool was introduced. The real power of Get Help, though, is shown in some case studies. A family claimed through Get Help as their oven had broken, but they had no means of buying a new one. But in using Get Help, they found that they could apply easily for a cooker online, and the data that they provided enabled the council to perform a comprehensive review of the customer's situation. And we were not only to help her with the essential appliances, but also to provide additional help with housing payments. This prevented repeat application requests and also workload for the council. In a separate example, we received an application from a single parent with 2 children fleeing domestic abuse. She was living temporarily in overcrowded accommodation and was at risk of becoming homeless. We were able to assess her single application and pay the rent in advance to secure her new accommodation, and at the same time to arrange for delivery, fitting and installation of white goods, furniture and carpets. This meant that the whole process was seamless for the family and much quicker for the council. We estimated savings against expenditure of over £3,000 for the council in respect of the cost of accommodation in bed and breakfast, which would have been the only available alternative.
So we know from our own BECS data that demand for welfare services increased during the last year. Have you seen demand surge for the Get Help tool during the pandemic?
Yes, definitely. Our online referrals doubled when the COVID lockdown started, and that since then they've doubled again. Many of our staff were redeployed to run the new COVID payment funds, and we were struggling to answer the volume of calls. Get Help gave us additional capacity to capture the information we needed, provide financial support and welfare advice to people who needed it. Having Get Help established before the COVID and the lockdown restrictions hit, it meant we were better positioned than many other councils to manage the transition to all of our staff working from home. The beauty of this tool is that it can be used on any partner website across the whole area, as it's just a case of embedding or sharing a web link, and the applications will still come through to the relevant teams, and it's fully integrated into our own systems. I'd also like to thank Team Netsol for helping us to develop the Get Help tool, as it's been a godsend during the pandemic. And to thank our own help and welfare staff who've been absolutely amazing in dealing with the additional calls and referrals from people in hardship.
Yes, the welfare teams have been pretty amazing during this period of time. And we appreciate that there are a number of vendors you could have worked with to craft a solution for your brief. Why did you choose to partner with Team Netsol to address the challenge?
We wanted to work with a partner who could help us not only to unpick the problem we'd identified, but to develop a bespoke solution that was user-led, secure, and which seamlessly plugged into our own back-end systems. We were wary of our experiences with other vendors, offering inflexible solutions and static, clumsy user experiences. We wanted to create a solution to impact the lives of Cheshire West and Chester residents, but appreciated that this is a widespread problem. And once we developed the tool, it would be invaluable to help other areas address poverty on a wider scale. And we know that Team Netsol are trusted partners of a number of other local authorities.
Yes, we were very happy to work with you on this project. It is exactly the sort of project that Team Netsol thrives on, making new technology help people and change lives. That's important to us. And we know it's absolutely important to Cheshire West and Chester too.